I couldn't not say anything at the time. And there's certain details, you know, that they want you to keep quiet. Specifics like the winner, or, you know, guest judges, or final standing, or in general, like they don't want you to name drop the girls who made it into house, the top 20, or in our case it was 15. But there's certain things like that they seriously don't want you, that they seriously don't want you to say. The contract agreement is $5.4 million. So this is something that happened on the show that a lot of people had no idea, because it never aired, right? So we're sitting down in our living room, and Tyra and Jordan Dunn were upstairs choosing a winner for the competition. In the meantime, everyone's still downstairs in their outfits, and in the meantime, I had one of the producers pull me aside. At this point, I didn't know I was going to win that challenge. I didn't know anything that was going on, but she pulls me upstairs and pulls me into a hallway. And she asked me, or said to me, I guess she didn't really ask me, she was like, Jeana, we have reason to believe that you have a cell phone here. And I was like, a cell phone? You guys took my cell phone at check-in. And just so you guys are aware of that, when you check in, we are sequestered in a hotel for a week without cameras. You get a room by yourself. You aren't allowed to come out of your room, and I mean that. You have to stick your head out of the door and wave down security at the other end of the hallway if someone's there, or dial a number to another room for someone to come and bring you something. But you couldn't get food. You were on a schedule. They ordered you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was always the same things, and you literally couldn't leave your room for a week. They take your cell phone. They took my keys. At the time, at the time I smoked cigarettes. They did not warn me that I wouldn't be able to smoke. They took my cigarettes. I mean, you name it. They literally took everything that I owned the moment that I got into a hotel and put it in a plastic bag, and I didn't see it again for 2.5 months. But I gave them my phone. They do it on purpose so that you can't reach out to your family. You can't get on social media and disclose information that they don't want disclosed before it hasn't even hit the air yet, you know, things like that. But they took my phone, and she kept telling me, we still think that you have the phone, no matter what I said. So she lets me go back into the house with the rest of the girls, and they all asked me, why did she bring you up there? And they would always do things like that, where production would pull me and separate just me from the rest of the girls. And it honestly made the rest of the cast hate me. A lot of the comments that you guys see the girls make in their interviews, a lot of the time it's because the producers made it seem like I was separated from the rest of them. They would separate me from them. When I went back down into the house, maybe 20 minutes later, they come out, and it was Tyra and Jordan Dunn. They come downstairs and they finally announce the winner of the competition, or that challenge. And they say it was me, and so all the girls are sitting there thinking, like, oh, they told you that you were gonna win this, you know? That's kind of what it was. So the girls didn't even believe, like, it was just a really stressful situation. But, oh, this is what I did though. When I came downstairs, they sat there and told me, they just told you that you're gonna win. We know that you're gonna win. And I said, no, I don't know that, and that's not what they said to me. They literally interrogated me about the fact that they think I have a cell phone here. And I don't. And I was like, so somebody, and I sat back, I literally stepped back from all the girls. I said, so one of you bitches in this house, in the nicest way, girls are just bitches. I call myself a bitch. It's fine. It's not an offensive term. But I said, so one of these bitches in this house have a phone. And I said, and whoever it is needs to confess to that, because I'm taking the blame for something that I'm not doing. And it makes me look bad. And of course they don't believe me. So because I said something, they come down, they announce the winner, and because the whole house was aware of it now, listen to this, they told me to go into the house and to not say anything to any of the other contestants. Why? Why just call me out for it? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? So of course I'm gonna let the other girls know. So that was kind of the start of like them kind of knowing that Jeana wasn't gonna play the game that they wanted me to play. Because they were aware that I told the rest of the house after they announced that I won that challenge. The producers come into the house. This is one of very few times that the producers have actually been on camera. They sat on our couches with us and had cameramen film them talking to us, telling us that having a phone in this house, someone for sure has a phone in this house, and that having the phone in the house is a breach of the contract, and that whoever has it, I don't know if you guys remember, we had a table in our living room, like a coffee table, and it had a little teal box in the center of it. And they said, whoever has it, please drop the phone in this box by 7 o'clock in the morning, and your competition standing will not depend on the situation. We just want the phone out of the house. That is all. And the saddest part about this, you guys, I direct messaged Tyra while this was happening, and I can show you guys. I'll be happy to post a screenshot of my story. I'm happy to. I direct messaged Tyra Banks and expressed to her that I know that this isn't all in her hands. I know that she didn't do it, but the producers did. And unfortunately, her name is on it. No one knows the producers. It's not the Ken Mock's Next Top Model. It's not Jamie's Next Top Model. It's Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model. And that's why people put so much on her, because she's the face, she's the representative, she's the creator, she's the founder of this entire venture. So that's why it does fall on her. I sent her a message and explained to her what goes on behind the scenes in production, just in case she didn't know. I'm sure she does. I'm 100% sure she does. 24 cycles of America's Next Top Model in like 15 years. She knows. Plenty of girls have told her. She read my message, you guys, and left it on scene. She never responded to me. Like, who does that? This is your name. There's lawsuits being brought up because of things like this. But you don't want any responsibility in it. You claim and you speak on all this female empowerment and building people up and accepting their differences, when in reality, you do the opposite. You physically push the opposite. You might say something else, but your actions prove otherwise. Top Model aired the same year that I was diagnosed with alopecia. Like, Top Model debuted the same year that I was diagnosed with alopecia and lost all my hair. I remember I would go home from school just to watch America's Next Top Model, just to watch Tyra preach about how being different is beautiful and how having something so imperfect makes you beautiful. And I grew up idolizing this woman, not even my own mom, and slowly trying to use her words as encouragement to like gain this confidence that no one in media was going to help me build, because there wasn't anybody with alopecia. And I introduced myself and said, hi, I'm Jeana, you know, I'm from Minneapolis, or whatever they wanted me to say, when in reality at the time I was living in Vegas. I'm really from Minnesota. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. And right away they start with these weird little like ba-dum. Like, I love Ashley Graham. Ashley Graham is the shit. She's amazing. She's like a big sister. She is who she is on TV. She was like doing these weird little like ba-dum like things. So she was like, so you've done some like ba-dum modeling, right? And I was just like, huh? And she was like, yeah, like, you know, some like sexy stuff. And Tyra said, yeah, you went from like little girl modeling to like Va Va Boom or something like that. And I was like, are you guys referring to Playboy? And they were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I was like, yeah, I've done Playboy. You know, I did Playboy when I was 18 years old. I lied and said I was 21 because I thought it was cool. But I said, yeah, like I did, you know, and so Tyra looked, all I said was yes. And I didn't deny it. I never denied it. You guys found out that I did Playboy episode 10, and they kind of tried to use it as, it's not lingerie, thank you, it's a bodysuit. But you guys didn't find that out until episode 10. So it kind of made you guys view it as something that I kept as a secret, and that production found out later and used against me. That's not the case. They knew about Playboy when I was doing Skype interviews from my house before I was guaranteed a cast member. I never kept that a secret. I know I never kept it a secret because even for Playboy, I used my real first and my real last name. You guys, when I said sex sells and you've said that on this show, and I just found out that that worked for my career. She crossed her fucking arms. Tyra Banks crossed her arms and looked at me and said, I don't like that. You sound like a fucking prostitute. And turns and looks this way and would not make eye contact with me the entire time. The only person that didn't bash me was Ashley Graham, and she told me, fuck what these people say. She literally put her hand up to Tyra's face and said, don't ever let anybody make you feel like you've done something wrong with your own body. She said, you are beautiful. She said, I've been naked all over plenty of magazines. I've showed my body everywhere. And she said, and I'm still proud to this day. She was like, never say sorry, never apologize. She was like, you're not wrong. Your body is beautiful and you are beautiful. And I'm telling you, when I started bawling, trying to defend myself, Tyra uncrossed her arms and goes, now tell me about alopecia. And that's where you guys see my interviews start. They skip all the Playboy stuff. They skip all the shit that makes me me. And make you guys think I'm a totally different person right off the bat. And I didn't know about this until the show airs. I watch it when you guys watch it. I've never tried to sabotage anybody. Even the shoot with Director X, where they made it seem like I was standing there and I laughed at Christiana breaking her heel. I didn't go to that spot. They literally came to the dressing room, the hair and makeup room, and grabbed me and walked me to her photo shoot and had me stand in a specific spot that made it look like I was spectating. But they literally told me I had to stand here, and I was like, okay. But we had a mock photo shoot, right? So they give me volume, and I'm like, all right. So they bring out all these wigs on the table. The wigs, all of the wigs were staged. I never picked out my wig, besides for this mock shoot. So it wasn't a stab at Christiana. They decided to pick out all these wigs. Don't ask me about individual contestants, you guys, because I literally would be talking for days. Yes, being on ice is real. Ice means shut up. It literally means do not talk. The premise between ice is that if there's no camera, no talking. So they basically want to capture every single moment. So like if there's no camera in the room, I swear to God, you guys are literally not allowed to talk to each other. Even if it's like, hey, can you pass me those chips over there? They don't want you to speak to each other. They want to capture every good, bad, evil, and in-between moment all on camera. So they laid out these wigs on the table, and I think they had like 5 or 6 different wigs, and they have they have everything from brown to like this like platinum blonde. And the brown ones, like, put it this way, the brown ones were short. The closer we got in the color spectrum to the blonde hair, the longer it got. So with me having volume as my product to talk about, I felt like I needed big, voluminous hair. So of course I went with the longest option. The 3 longest options were all platinum blonde, guys. You know, and a lot of people will, I saw a lot of comments and people saying, you know, that I chose it to mock Christiana or to go after Christiana, or that, you know, this is a real mole. This is my own personal mole next to a pimple, but it's my own mole. I just asked the lady to make it darker. I've always had the same mole in the same spot as Marilyn Monroe. And that was my inspiration for the shoot, was Marilyn Monroe. It wasn't Christiana or Kyla. I got in trouble that day from production for not being interactive with the girls because I was so busy talking to stylists, talking to makeup artists, talking to the graphic guy, talking to the guy who's running video, talking to the new photographer. I tried my hardest to network my ass off and not feed into any of the drama, even when the opportunities presented themselves. I avoided it. They literally yelled at me that day and told me that they will send me home if I do not interact with the girls more, and that I need to go sit by the girls and talk instead of standing over here. At that time, I was talking to the wardrobe stylist. Even when you get eliminated, you don't get your phone back. You're still under the same rules and pretenses that you would be if you were competing in the house. And they do make you do more interviews, yes. You are correct. But they keep you there throughout the whole thing. So the saddest part, for instance, Maggie Keating. I love Maggie. They eliminated her on day 3. This girl sat in a hotel for 2 months. The entire 2 months. No, you don't get your stuff back. They don't give you your phone back. You can't use your hotel phone. You can, but you'll get in trouble. But yeah, all of our phones, actually no, I don't think you could use your phones. All of our phones had access to be turned on and turned off remotely from somewhere else on property. How much were you paid? You don't get paid. Girls quit their jobs to go do this for free. They give you like $20 a day, but we have to use all that money back. We have to pay for fluff and fold laundry, groceries. They don't just, like, there's catering and stuff on set, but when we're at home, it's our food. Someone goes shopping for you and usually messes up your order. So usually you don't have the food that you wanted. A little crazy, right? I was vegan going into the competition, and I actually had to stop being vegan because they promised that they would have vegan options for catering, and they never did. All sitting on our living room floor. Yeah, we're all sitting on the floor, and Tyra's on our TV telling us all one by one what our makeovers are. I was actually shocked, and what you guys saw was me being emotional and crying looking at the TV, because my view sitting in that living room on the television, Tyra said, "Jeana, we're gonna go back to the natural you, the real you. We're gonna give you a pixie and go back to that natural ashy blonde, natural hair that you had when you were a kid." And I started crying because at that point I was 24. I hadn't seen really like a morsel of my own hair, even its color, since I was 10 years old. I literally hadn't had my own hair on my head that resembled my ethnicity, my hair texture, none of that. But when they aired it to you guys, they edited out that clip of her telling me I get my real hair back and they're gonna create a wig for me that resembles my old hair. And I walked into the salon. On TV, they say, "Oh no, you know that wig girl, you're gonna have to say bye to her." That's not what I watched. Not at all. And then when I get to the salon, I'm still in my head thinking, I get a wig, right? You guys in your heads are thinking she's about to go bald, or like she's losing the wig, so something's happening, but she's gonna lose the wig. In my head, I was getting a wig. So when I walked into that salon, they told Cora, "You know what the Cora is? It's you. You're gonna keep you." Then they go to me. They don't show this on camera, but they looked at me and they said, "Jeana, you know how we said we were gonna get you a wig? Nope." They were like, "We're actually," Law Roach said it, he was like, "We're actually gonna bick your head." And I was like, "Bick?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" He was like, "Yeah, we're shaving your head." We didn't know that we were competing for next $100,000 Pantene, the video game, none of that at all, actually, until we got down to 7 girls. So the first 8 girls had no clue what they were competing for. They never even got the lecture. But the rest of, they didn't tell us until we eliminated that 8th girl and got down to 7. They told us that day in panel, "You guys want to know what your prize package is?" And we were like, "Yeah, finally, I want to know. Yes, I've been wondering this whole fucking time." They dropped Next as the agency. I know how short I am. Next doesn't have a petite board. They don't do petite. So I knew right off the bat, this isn't going to work for me. Not going to be my favorite. Then they continue with everything, and then they mention Pantene. Sure, I'm supposed to do a whole hair campaign, either with a full-on wig or completely bald. I knew it wasn't in my favor. So imagine trying to compete for 7 more weeks knowing that there's no way that you could win. No way. When I got eliminated, you guys, I begged for them to send me home. I begged for them to give me my phone back and to let me call my fiance.